For years now, information surrounding mysterious creatures, objects and other phenomena have become much easier to access. As information surrounding these strange phenomena have continued to grow, impossible to predict parallels have begun to surface, begging for a much deeper interpretation of reports and how they all interconnect. This has led to a new development I want to start on this channel. It's going to be known as ACIO reports. The ACIO reports will feature an ACIO, an abbreviation of the term Anomalous Creatures, Items and Occurrences. These will include those that have captured the attention of researchers, of whom believe they can track, understand and research the theoretical makeup of such anomalous entities. Not only could this help to establish serious research efforts in the fields otherwise completely ignored, but it would also help propel the mystery of such entities into the forefront of natural science, growing our understanding of the world around us. So many times in the past have interesting characters claimed impossible creature sightings and other fantastic phenomena, facing the blunt criticisms of people claiming their information was far from factual, only to be proven legitimate later down the line, with none of the credit. An example of such a report was made surrounding an elusive creature known as the African unicorn, of which would later become a proven species now known as the okapi, that many researchers had denied existed within the Congo. Another example is the existence of the ether, proven by Nikola Tesla with his advancements in radio wave technology, only to have the name be recognized as the electromagnetic spectrum, despite Nikola Tesla naming it the ether, for its ether properties and ancient magic references, an effort made to delegitimize his claims of mysticism. The first report we'll be taking a look at is that of Bigfoot. I often get emails sent to me by you guys about strange things you've managed to capture. One that was sent to me a while back included an interesting photograph. The sender started off by saying they work in California, and they often find themselves outdoors. This is due to their job. On this particular occasion, they was with their friend out in the sticks when they came across something they couldn't explain. The person details how their friend called them over because he'd found something interesting. At first the pair couldn't understand what they were looking at. They could only describe it as being the arm of a large humanoid. After the friend kicked it, they could see the arm was almost double the size of that of an average man's. It had brown fur and seemed to be missing the thumb, although the bone was still present. The friends then remembered they had a piece of black tarpaulin in their trunk. They got it and then kicked the arm onto it, noting it was very hairy and they could even see the tendons running through the hand. Although this story sounds incredible, various people throughout the years have tried to fake evidence in regards to Bigfoot. Footprints and other body parts have been found all across the world, and one thing that genuine researchers have noticed is that there's been a huge surge in fakes in the last few years alone. One of the issues is that it's easy to fake evidence. Bigfoot molds can be purchased online which can be used to create tracks. Regardless of this, there's still those that take the existence of this creature seriously. The Sasquatch creature seems to stand somewhere between 8 and 10 feet tall. Some witness accounts have claimed the creature stood at nearly 15 feet tall however, so variation in height amongst the species could be a factor. It's for this reason that the Sasquatch is expected to have an aging development similar to humans, and most likely being birthed in the same way humans are. The creature is believed to have a total arm length of 120% the height of its body, similar to that of ape-like creatures with elongated forearms. Unlike an ape, however, the creature is believed to be bipedal. The bipedal nature of the creature most likely points to the theory of a working voice box, as the head would need to be in a position that allows for bipedal movement. Further evidence shows that the Sasquatch has a massive big toe to help with balancing issues, with it being nearly 3 times in volume in comparison to the size when adjusted for human scale. The Sasquatch also seems to be covered in hair all over its body. Nearly everyone around the world has heard of Bigfoot, or a creature similar in design and behaviour to Bigfoot. This leads to a tremendous amount of reports, witness sightings, video evidence, physical evidence, footprints and theories into the creature that cannot be entirely explored within this document. Throughout the video, we'll be taking a look at the most convincing pieces of evidence surrounding Bigfoot, and what each piece of evidence helps to contribute to the theories surrounding this creature. Back in 1925, a private photographer of whom was a proud and widely respected member of the Royal Geological Society, named Tom Bazi, wrote in incredible reports that first popularized the Sasquatch creature, and eventually led to his own reputation later being completely destroyed. It was common for Tom Bazi to find himself in strange, isolated places around the world, as he would often spend countless days alone in an effort to catalogue geographical strata, or find new gorges or valleys in the hopes of making revolutionary geographical scientific discoveries in the field. As he found himself exploring the area deep within the Zimu Glacier, Tom Bazi claimed to have spotted a rather strange creature standing no more than 200 to 300 yards away from him. The creature, as he described, appeared to be that of a humanoid creature, in which he writes in his report as the following. Unquestionably, the figure in the outline was exactly like a human being, walking upright and stopping occasionally to pull at some short bushes. It shows up dark against the snow as far as I could make out, and it wore no clothes of any kind. The sighting of the creature continued for a minute before the creature ran off and disappeared completely from his sight. Baffled by the sighting, he quickly gathered as much data and information as he could. He noted he was approximately 15,000 feet above sea level, and gathered information about the bushes, plant life and environment of the region. Shortly after this gathered information, Tom Bazi left the area to locate his companions. When he returned roughly 2 hours later, Tom Bazi and his companions scoured the mountain and found evidence of footprints, in which he described as being similar to that of a man in shape. However, the feet appeared to be 7 inches long and 4 inches wide, but were undoubtedly that of a bipedal creature. It was his written report and gathered evidence that helped to lay the foundation for what would later be considered the Yeti or Sasquatch creature, and would lead to the first expeditions into uncovering the truth. It was not until the early 1950s that the nationwide headlines began running the story of the mysterious and elusive Yeti creature, that many would later go on to compare to the unending amount of Sasquatch sightings made all throughout the United States. Back in 1951, a group of hikers were already making headlines for their attempt to scale Mount Everest, and the endless amount of training they had taken to see the journey to the end of their life-threatening trip. The group came well prepared with the equipment and mental fortitude necessary for their expedition to be seen as a success, but most importantly, in order to prove their climb, they brought along a state-of-the-art camera to take high-quality photographs once they reached the mountain's peak. In direct conflict to their major achievement, the headlines that ran all across the country after the group had finished their ascent was not that of their incredible trek to the top of the world's tallest mountain, but rather that of their incredibly high-quality images that they had snapped of what appears to be anatomically correct footprints of a strange humanoid-like creature living at an incredibly high altitude in the region. The footprints were originally found by Michael Ward and were later pointed out to fellow members of the hiking group. Eric Shipton quickly got high-quality photographs of the prints, while placing down his ice pick next to it to show off the length and width of the incredible find. Many skeptics had argued the authenticity of the footprint, but research analysis have found anatomically correct details so perfect that it would have been impossible to fake. The footprint showed that the big toe of the creature appeared to be at the perfect size and volume one would see in a creature of a massive size, especially one needed for adequate balance, and the depth of certain areas of the footprint showed a correct distribution of weight that the hikers would never have been able to accurately reproduce. Today the photograph is seen as one of the most compelling pieces of evidence of the Yeti creature, and even helps to shed light into its weight, size and evolution. At the height of the Yeti craze and the fascination the public had on the strange and elusive creature, the Daily Mail worked to gather their own evidence and make cutting-edge reports on finding the creature themselves. After only 3 years since the photographs were taken by Eric Shipton, the Daily Mail sent out an expedition team on the 19th of March in 1954 to go to the same area the hikers had discovered the compelling evidence of the creature and begin their research into uncovering the truth of their creation. The research team found strange evidence of the native population having symbolic paintings of the Yeti, as well as myths as to what it could be, with many of the locals even claiming to have seen the creature on their hikes. When the mountaineering leader John Angelo Jackson made the trek up the mountain, he photographed overwhelming evidence of different unidentifiable tracks of flattened footprints from what appeared to be a large biped. These photographs, however, paled in comparison to the evidence the research team would soon uncover in their efforts to prove the existence of the creature. As they further investigated local myths and legends amongst the population at the base of the mountain, it appeared that as the locals warmed up to the researchers' inquiries, they began to reveal to them evidence they have gathered of the creature on their own. The researchers were then taken to a monastery in the region, and were told by those who lived there that they was in possession of the removed scalp from one of these creatures. The monastery then allowed the researchers to take the scalp back home for further scientific examinations, and these were made by Dr. Biswas. The doctor found conclusive evidence that the scalp belonged to no known animal at the time of its findings, and that it was not taken from an ape or bear anywhere in the region. Unfortunately, DNA could not be taken from the specimen, as an unknown individual had the scalp completely bleached, and all that remains of the scalp are a collection of cut-up hairs that can only be examined microscopically. The combination of these expeditions and scientific theories would launch the Yeti, also known as the Sasquatch, into popularity, as many believe that the creature could have similar intelligence to humans, given its elusive nature and that the creature was an undiscovered species all across the world. These expeditions would not hold the only gathering evidence, as throughout the United States video evidence of the Sasquatch creature would continue to grow. Noted as being the longest film footage of the Sasquatch creature, the Marble Mountain Wilderness video has been the focus of a wide variety of study, recreations and debate regarding the validity of the evidence, and the overwhelming answer that it provides. The video is roughly 7 minutes in length, and provides striking evidence of a humanoid shape atop a nearby mountain ridge. It seems to possess elongated forearms, a large build, and stands human-like in appearance. The footage itself is regarded by Sasquatch specialists as a Class A sighting, which means that the sighting is described as being a clear sighting in circumstances where misinterpretation or misidentification of other animals can easily be ruled out with greater confidence. This means that without a doubt the creature seen in the footage is definitely not any animal of any known kind, of which is a common explanation that skeptics attempt to use to explain away encounters with the Sasquatch, and usually state it's nothing more than a bear sighting. An interesting fact to note is that the evidence of this footage was so compelling that the television show Finding Bigfoot dedicated an entire episode to this 7-minute footage, and spent months recreating each shot and measuring out the size and shape of the sighted creature to prove its incredible stature. After all this was carried out, it was said to be evidence of an authentic Bigfoot. They found the footage was not edited in any way, and when the Finding Bigfoot team recreated the shots, it was uncovered that the creature would have stood at roughly 4 feet taller than their tallest cameraman, a size which came out to be approximately 10 feet tall. Further measurement analysis of the footage also shows that at one still frame, the creature can be seen extending its left arm out the entire way. It comes out to roughly 60% of its entire body length, 6 feet long in total. This percentage is seen in apes and monkeys, making its entire arm span 120% of its entire body length, much longer than any normal human ratio. It could very well be that this piece is not only overwhelming evidence of the existence of the Bigfoot creature, but that it also provides useful measurements and physiological information about the creature for further study for Bigfoot experts. So what do you make of the Bigfoot creature? Do you think that is a genuine creature that's good at avoiding run-ins with humans? Or do you think that this creature is just an everyday animal being misidentified? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.